We are back. Yes, we're back again for another episode of Chatty Caveman. Thank you for listening, and feel free to tell a friend, share a link, or whatever you do to see if anybody else wants to listen to us. Actually, I dare you to. Okay? Yep, I dare you. I dare you. I know that used to be a thing when we were kids and whatever. I hated that because I always got suckered into doing something stupid, just to prove you're cool or, try and get a girl to look at you or something else like that. It was always dumb. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember when dares were a big deal for us as kids, Well, for me, it was probably up until I was 20. I was doing stupid dares. Once my cousin's boyfriend, I was at my aunt's house. I think I was a junior, maybe a senior in high school. And for some stupid reason, there was a ladder there. There was a ladder to get onto the roof. I don't know if they were doing work on the house. My aunt was not home. And it was my fault because I kind of said, hey, it's not that far from the roof to the pool. That would be cool if you could jump off the roof and into the pool. And it was, the house was a split-level house. And it was maybe like 10 feet from the building to the pool edge. But it was an above-ground 4-foot pool that maybe only had like 3'6" of water in it. And he dared me. And, of course, he did it in front of my cousin's friends. And I was like, oh, I got to do this now. And I climbed up the freaking roof. And I took a running start like an idiot. And I just jumped. I closed my eyes and I ran and I jumped towards the middle of the pool, thinking I'm going to make the middle of the pool. I closed my eyes. They said I made it within like 3 inches of cutting my head open on the edge of the pool. I did like a cannonball where I kicked my legs a little bit, did cannonball, and I hit the bottom of the pool with my butt, and a thing shot up my spine. But I came out of the water, and I was like, oh, I'm fine. And it shocked me. And, of course, my cousin's boyfriend, he said, I can't be outdone by him. So he went up there and did it too. He hit the bottom of the pool. I can't believe we both weren't paralyzed. We just barely made it, but it was stupid. But I dare you, causes all problems.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
Not so much for me. I didn't get dared a lot.
Well, here we go. So you didn't get dared a lot, but maybe a challenge or just, let's see if we could swing and jump over a fence. We were at a soccer game with a bunch of us.
Well, I wasn't trying to jump over a fence.
We were trying to get as high as the fence and jump up to the fence because it was only like 6 feet away.
Yeah, and I broke my wrist in 5 places. I've talked about this before.
Yeah, that was a rough one. So dares are stupid, but, it's one of those... It's one of those things where you call a bluff. Yeah. I know, but I just remember it because it's like, well, I'm daring people to actually listen, follow, see if anybody else wants to join it. So that's it. That just came in my mind. Anyway.
No, I like it.
What am I supposed to do?
So in other words, you're bullying them.
I'm bullying.
You're kind of bullying them a little bit.
Yeah.
You're daring them because a lot of darers are bullies. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm taking away from that whole segment right there.
Thank you.
Just saying.
Well, I've never bullied anybody.
I didn't know what the hell was going on today.
I've never bullied anybody that I know of except for all my employees. So
yes,
that's
no,
about I'm a terrible tyrant.
No, you're just a very particular person.
Well, if you have a good dare story, go ahead and comment and leave it.
Look at that. You're telling people to comment.
Yeah, well, this was, why not?
I like it. No, listen, I'm commenting on that, and look at that. It's in the algorithm. We're saying the word comment.
Okay, there you go. Well, this was very, very inside. So I know you like to go out to the bar, have a drink, whatever, go play darts,
Sometimes.
Go to a concert, do something, anything. I like to go out. I'll go out to eat with my girlfriend, wherever, it doesn't matter, go to a comedy show, do anything like this. But really, I'm really a TV junkie, and one of my really, really bad addictions is starting again right now because the new season of all the shows are coming out right now, and I'm really crazy about these reality shows, especially the top 3 to me are Amazing Race, Big Brother, and the one that's starting this week or next week, Survivor. The new season of Survivor is coming out.
I think I just watched the first episode of it, so it is out already, right?
Yeah, it's either came out.
There's one episode.
Did it come? I wait. It's a good show because I can watch it with the kids. I have older kids, but they're still kids. I love the characters. I love the good guys who you think are good guys that turn out to be villains. I love the nerds. I love everybody about it. The social game is great. I sit there and I say, oh, I could do Survivor because I got this scheme. I got this way I could do whatever. I don't think I can't handle the sand. I can't handle the bugs. I can't handle the bugs and the snakes and like everything right on the,
yeah.
I live by a beach. I never go to the beach. I'll go in the water, but not too deep because I'm afraid of sharks. Don't tell anybody that. But
yeah,
the sand and all the other stuff. I mean, our parents, I don't know if you remember, but when I was younger, They took us to a drive-in. Yeah, there were drive-ins. They took us to a drive-in so they could see the movie Jaws. But I was in the back seat. So when I look up and I see a shark eating people, I'm afraid of the water. Ever since then, it was ridiculous. But I don't stop with just those few stupid reality shows that I love, okay? Like, I have guilty pleasures. I watch The Challenge, The Mole, Bering Sea Gold, Deadliest Catch, Alone, I know you watched. That's a crazy show.
Alone's a great show, yeah.
I've watched Outlast. I watch Great British Bake Off. I watch everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, technically a reality show. Is It Cake on Netflix? I watch that. I watch all the stupid dating shows. Bachelor in Paradise has got to be the favorite because they're all nuts. I watch all the stuff because I have a girlfriend. I want to keep up with what she knows and whatever, and I want to try and,
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, my favorite, which is getting ready, I think, to start another season. Okay, I love Survivor. I love all these other ones. But if you give me anything Gordon Ramsay, I watch it. I watch him yelling at people.
I've liked him. I've seen him yell at people.
And he's making so many shows, everything. But between Hell's Kitchen, Master Chef, and Next Level Chef, I watch them all.
And I don't watch any of them, but I have watched a few episodes of something.
Well, it gets so bad that, I drop so much money in Hell's Kitchen in Vegas because you see all these dishes on TV and you're like, oh, I saw it on TV. And then you watch, and it's embarrassing when you sit there for 3 hours and order almost every meal and every appetizer. But it was fun. At least I can say I did it, it's crazy when you're like, oh, shit. I've seen that.
You like to give opinions on food.
Yeah.
And you also love food. You love food.
I do love food. COVID did that because I became a COVID cook, and then I'm like, oh, I could do this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, no, I can't. It takes a lot of practice to do what they do. I try. I get the stupid ingredients. It's not the same thing. But I try complicated things because it's easier to be really bad at something complicated, say it's hard, than to, make a good hamburger.
Right.
But anyway, let's get to football now.
Football.
Because let's get to last week's misses. We got a few right, but last week was another thing.
That's
well,
fun.
look,
lay it out.
I read in the USA Today, this is a quote, that week 3 was an early reminder that the NFL fans and bettors in this league is unpredictable from week to week. So they're literally saying it in their own section because they got a lot of bets wrong too. That was in the USA Today. They're like, yeah, we're kind of off because they give their bet picks too. They're like, don't blame us if you're losing because it's a crazy time. That was just from the NFL Today. But week 3 looked a lot like week 2. Okay, teams are trying to show what they are. Some holdouts are starting to come in. Some are injuries. And this is when the pressure gets on. After a couple of players are not performing up to speed, you're starting to see arguments on the sidelines. You're starting to see quarterbacks and wide receivers yelling a little bit, saying whatever, coaches getting gruff, especially with the Jet game.
Okay, so what was the deal with that?
They just said it was blown out of proportion and he didn't want to make a big deal of it. But that was really obvious when it first happened, when Aaron Rodgers came to the sideline and the coach was kind of like, give him a hug or whatever, and he pushed him off and he's like, back off, man, back off. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know if it was act like you've been there before or like, who do you think you are hugging me? It was a very, and they kind of blew it off. It was a very, very weird exchange.
All right, so they didn't comment about it after the game.
They had a press conference, but they just kind of blew it off to say, oh, it's not a big deal. You guys are making it out to be a bigger deal than it was. We'll see. That coach is very excited because he finally won, it was one of those things. But
finally, there was 2 in a row.
Well, that was a good game for them. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers finally did something.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't looked good. But, okay, so last week, let's go over what we kind of got right. The Bears over the Colts.
Oh, you got that right?
Well, I got it right.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm like,
I got it right. Bears 16, Colts 21. Okay, the Colts were -1. They did cover that. I had the Lions. Okay, the Lions beat the Cardinals. It was 20-13. They covered. -3. Lions were -3.
Okay, yeah.
And then the Ravens and the Cowboys. That game, 28-25. Cowboys came back in the second half of that. They did not look good. And the Ravens covered because they were -1.5. Our teaser picks, we went 50-50. That fourth one we should have pushed because we were like 2, and then but either way.
And those were,
and they were big upsets. But we had the Dolphins and we had the Seahawks that were going to beat the Dolphins, and they did easily. The Dolphins are in some disarray right now. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins, Seahawks, it was 24-3 in Seattle. Patriots 3, the Jets 24. That was your game. Mm-hmm. Patriots did not look good in that at all.
No, they didn't.
The Jets looks like they can do some things, but once again, we don't know against that kind of competition. We're not sure what it is.
And Buffalo, they're in our division, so they're a problem.
Yeah, the Bills 47, the Jaguars 10. The
Right.
Jaguars, they are really, really falling apart. They gave Trevor Lawrence this big contract in the offseason. They were supposed to be pretty good. They were supposed to fight for that division. They're falling way behind.
Mm-hmm.
So they may just, there's a couple of teams out there that may just tank. But we got that one right, the Bills. And then the Chiefs over the Falcons. I hate to say it. Man, the Falcons had chances in that game. And chances,
I know they
and it was
did.
just, the Chiefs don't look like they're blowing anybody away so far. And that's a problem because when they actually get it together, it's going to be really annoying because they're winning games that, I mean, it just
they're
looks like
staying
they
in
keep
it.
taking over. They're
It's
staying
like
in everything.
They're staying in every game. It's a low-scoring game. They're in it.
People just get nervous when they're either up on them or tied, and they're just like, oh, we got a chance, and then they just blow it. It was that way with Brady, and now it's that way with Mahomes.
So
they're both super talented. So we got those. So we got 7 right.
Okay.
And then what we got wrong, I did not expect anything from the Giants going into Cleveland. People expected Cleveland to do a little bit of something.
Right.
Giants 21, Cleveland 15. Cleveland's favored in that game by 6.5 points. 6.5.
Oh,
I said I would have passed on watching that game, but I did pick the Browns. Okay. I expected them to beat the Giants. I said that was going to be a dog of a game that nobody should watch, but we made a pick and it didn't happen. The game that was a shocker, 5-star game, I thought it was going to be offense all over the place. The Saints and the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised it was such a low-scoring game. But
Such a low-scoring game. The Eagles really did not let the Saints do anything they were used to. They looked like they were out of rhythm. Carr looked like he was out of rhythm. They couldn't run the ball. They kept trying the same plays. They had a couple of deep shots that were okay, but the Eagles were able to maintain. They put it together. They won. They won a game they really needed to win to kind of prove that they're going to feel okay about themselves. But that was a spread that was going to be, it was -2.5 for the Saints. Saints 12, the Eagles 15. It was in New Orleans. That was not a good one. It was all defense and not a lot of points.
yeah, it was meh.
Okay, the game that you got right and I got wrong, as opposed to the other one earlier that we spoke about, was the Texans going to the Vikings.
Oh, wow.
Nobody expected that.
I tell ya.
Nobody expected the Vikings 34, the Texans 7. Texans got manhandled. They couldn't do anything. The offense of the Vikings is clicking. The defense of the Vikings is clicking as well, and they're a dangerous team. They got a lot of confidence right now. They play in the Dome. They play another couple of division games in the Dome, and if the weather's not going to affect them and they can get any kind of playoff at home or whatever, if they get into the playoffs, I mean, they're 3-0. Most 3-0 teams make the playoffs.
Listen, they looky good, and usually when I think a team is good, they usually tank. That's what's right, so right now,
Don't
watch
jinx your
out,
boy
Minnesota.
Sam Darnold. Don't jinx him.
Watch out, Sam Darnold.
But
I'm jinxing you, buddy, because I'm really into you right now. They're like probably my number 3 team right now.
he's really into you. Number 3.
That's big. Jets are number 1. There's only another one, and I'm not even sure who it is.
Yeah, the Vikes are for real, though. The Vikes are for real. And then you have the Packers, who went into Tennessee, and I was sticking to Tennessee as long as I could. Tennessee cannot do anything. They keep turning the ball over. They keep giving it away. But the Packers.
Okay, so yeah, Packers
30.
I beat you on that one. Bam.
Titans 14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Broncos and the Bucks. The Broncos went into Tampa Bay. Everybody was talking about Tampa Bay, including us. All the prognosticators. Everybody had it. We used that as our tease. Okay.
Yeah.
That was our second tease game that lost. So
that was
the Bucks was 7. The Broncos 26. That's the most points they scored this season.
It sucked. I really wanted to root for this tease, and it was like right off the bat was like a loser, right?
Yeah, it shocked everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just all of a sudden they scored. The Bucks were like, "Oh, we're not used to being behind," because that was the first time they were behind all season. Mm-hmm. The Bucks have been doing everything. Okay, we didn't pick it, but the Chargers 10, the Steelers 20 in Pittsburgh. The Steelers were -1, but Herbert got hurt. Their quarterback got hurt. Again, he got taken out of the game. They were playing close. And then once he got taken out of the game, the Steelers took it over. The Steelers are still, it's 3 weeks in, and you don't know what kind of team they are other than they're well coached. But they're not flashy. They don't do much. They're playing with Fields. I don't know what's going to happen when Russell Wilson is healthy. Are they going to co-start him if it's getting slow? Bring him in a little bit. They said they were going to bring in Fields for some plays if Russell Wilson was healthy and he was going to start. Now it looks like Fields is in. Do you take a guy who's won you 3 games? I don't know. I just that one is really an enigma. I still don't know anything about that team. I keep watching them and going, and guess what? Where we live, there's a huge Pittsburgh contingency. Actually, in the country, there's a huge Pittsburgh contingency because
they do have a big,
everything that they did in the 70s and they're always contenders. They're always a decent team. It's wild. Okay, another shocker of the week. The Panthers decided to wake up and score with the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. Unbelievable. First 300-yard passer of the season.
That statistic's weird. When was the last time something like that happened? Because that's an odd one, right?
Well, it's an odd one because the offenses, they say, are so slow this year, that slow in bringing up, that it took week 3, and he was like the first 300-yard passer of the season. So that was a wild one. Okay, 36, the Raiders 22. The Raiders didn't look good. I don't think you know Gardner Minshew. I don't think you know the Raiders quarterback.
No.
He's kind of like known for like wearing like cutoff shorts with the pockets hanging out, and like I don't know, like a porn mustache. Like he's an interesting
character.
He's an interesting character. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a terrible day. It was awful. Okay. The all injury game that we mentioned, I don't understand what's going on with this team. But it was the 49ers 24 and the Rams 27. The Rams pulled it out at the end. The Niners were favored by 7 points in this game. The Niners were up. Now, this is more than just a one-off. The Niners coach, he always blows these big leads. He did it, like I said, in the Super Bowl with 2 different teams. He's done it this week. He doesn't know how to hold on to that lead. And I'm conflicted because I root for Stafford, but that blew my pick. I really thought the Niners were going to be good and have a chance. The Commanders, another team, that rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, shocked everybody. It was closer than everybody thought, 38-33 on the Bengals. The Bengals look so confused. 1 minute, he just goes down and tosses a huge touchdown pass, and they can't stop anybody. And the next minute, they can't complete a pass. They're very cocky. They're a very confident team. They got a lot of players. But still, I mean, you can't get beat by Washington that badly. In your own stadium, in Cincinnati on Monday night, you were already 0-2 in the season, and they start very slow every year. I expected them to win. That was the tease that really, really killed us because I had that one.
Yeah, and weren't they like behind like pretty much the whole time too?
It was close, maybe the first quarter, and then all of a sudden it was like bang, bang, and then Washington was doing it with people that have been okay. I mean, if you look at the list of Washington quarterbacks over the last 3 or 4 years, you're going, holy cow, this list is longer than any other team. It's amazing. Any other team in the NFL. Washington has, half a season, they start 3 people, then they start 2, then they start 3, then all season the backup plays, and then the third string plays, and then they cut the backup, and then they bring somebody else up. It's amazing. I don't understand what's going on with that team. Usually by week 3, you kind of get some solid footing on how to feel and and the spreads this week, they're even wilder. I mean, there's some spreads this week. You're going, who's favored? What's going on?
Okay.
Now I have a little pet peeve, and I showed you because I was watching the game, and I said, come here, let me ask you something. I said, do you see this on Fox NFL? They do not run a sports ticker. The sports ticker is the little thing on the bottom that tells you all the scores. In this day and age, fantasy football, in this day and age where gambling is huge between the advertising and of utmost importance to people, and you're watching one game and one game only. Usually they used to have a box in the corner just to tell you what's going on and how much time is left. They're doing the opposite of what everybody else does, which is they're not showing you anything.
So why? What do you think? I mean, it's got to be a reason for that.
I'm confused. They don't want to remind you that anything else is on, but if you're watching a dog of a game, you're going to switch it. So they're doing the opposite of Red Zone. They're doing the opposite of all these other split screen, multi-view, that
right.
All these other. They're just showing you this one game, no updates until halftime. I did it this weekend. I can go into my, I was watching a college football game, and I put it on, and then I put the down arrow on, and it said you could pick your own multi-view. And it gives me like 8 different teams to put on the split screen or put it into quarters to watch 4 different games that I want to choose.
Right.
So and then you just click on it, and then they're on there, and then you can just scroll through those 4 games to keep the volume on one of them. Whatever you highlight, the volume will be on that game, and then you go down, and then you press it, and it comes up right away. I don't understand what Fox is doing without any ticker. No sports ticker at all. So I kept switching to another game. And I'm like, I'm switching the channel now because they're not giving me any updates at all. It's an interesting thing. I really want to look into it to see what Fox either knows or doesn't know or doesn't realize what they did. And it was the early game, so there was so many games going on. It was the early game. There was so many games going on. So many interesting things going on.
I mean, this is the only week you've never noticed it any other week.
I noticed it the week before, and I'm like, wait a minute, they don't have a ticker on.
so-
But I didn't follow that game as long because I switched the channel out to another game to watch, and I never went back. I may not have switched it as much if I knew what was going on in those games.
Okay.
That's the bizarre part. So it did exactly what they're not intending me to do.
They're dropping the ball.
I think so.
No pun intended. You know, the football.
Yeah.
Get it? All right.
Got it.
There you go. I inserted something.
Okay. Please do. Please do.
Oh, no.
Not like that, though. So listen, we got this week.
So
we're going to go through the games.
Okay.
I got all the things with the spreads.
Great.
First game of the week. It's Thursday night. It's the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure they lost 2 in a row at home, both at home. They're on this road this week, and they're going to the Giants, who finally won a game last week against the Browns, and I still don't trust the Giants. I don't know what they are. I still don't trust the Giants.
Dallas should kick the shit out of the Giants, shouldn't they?
Dallas is favored by 4.5 points. This is literally the same exact team that should kick the crap out of the Giants because they're a powerhouse team who had such a great record last year, and the Giants did not. I know they got Daniel Jones back because he was out last year. I know that all this other stuff is going on with the rookie receiver, but their scheme doesn't look great. They beat the Browns, who to me are not a great team. I mean, I'm going with the Cowboys this week, and I'm going to use that as a tease.
Okay, Cowboys.
So I'm going with the Cowboys this week. And this spread confuses the crap out of me just because I understand a team should be better, but until you show it at this point now, 3 weeks in a row, I don't think you can count on anything, especially when you're talking about point spreads. The Bengals are on the road. They're 0-3, and they're favorites by 5.5 points against the Panthers. Now, the Panthers kicked the crap out of the Raiders, okay, on the road. Now they're coming home. Still Andy Dalton, still that team. But do I expect the Bengals, who've done nothing so far, to really be that much better than the Panthers? I expect this to be a close game. 5.5 points as a road favorite? The Bengals are a road favorite in Carolina. I do not expect this to be. And guess what? I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say that this is a tease again. I think the Bengals probably will win, but I'm going to tease it, and I'm going to say that the Bengals are going to win. And I'm going to make the Bengals an underdog by 1 point, and that'll be the second tease. But I don't expect them to win against the Panthers. I mean, I expect them to win against the Panthers. I do not expect the Panthers. I think they won a game. I think they're happy about it, but I think they're going to revert back to what they are.
You think?
Yeah. What do you think? Who are you picking?
I don't know. I think you know what?
The Bengals are on the road at the Panthers. You got to pick one.
I had more faith in the Bengals, but I'm also thinking that they might just fold.
But Vegas, if Vegas thought they were going to fold, they wouldn't have them like that. That would be a lower spread or pick-em game. I know,
right,
it's crazy.
I know, I'm a genius.
Unless it's a sucker's bet, and that's what they're doing. They're the ones who they got these giant skyscrapers with buildings with,
Right. I'm not betting anything
penthouses.
Real, so I'll
Okay, next game.
Next game.
This one is a toss-up to me because it's the Saints on the road going to the Falcons. Now, this is a division game. They always play each other interesting. You never really know. I've been watching this game for years. No matter whether it was Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, it didn't matter who was the quarterback in these games. They know each other in division. They're both dome teams, and they're both fast teams. The Falcons, is there a hangover from losing to Kansas City last week at home? They lost in Atlanta, okay, against Kansas City.
Yeah.
They were in the game, though. The week before, they won on the road, and the Saints lost pretty badly, okay?
It was, what was...
They didn't run. What I mean is they didn't do anything.
No.
When I say badly, they didn't look good. They didn't look in sync.
and
The
they
2 weeks
couldn't
before,
score.
they couldn't do anything but score, and they really had trouble. So, I don't know. The Falcons are favored by 1.5. This is a super confusing game.
Yeah, I don't
basically a
understand why they
toss-up.
would be...
The Falcons are a solid team. They got a pretty good defense. The Saints have a lot of weapons. The Falcons have not been in sync with all their assets. Let's just say Bijan Robinson has not been fantastic in a full game. He has not done it for a full game. So Can the Falcons beat them at home? Yeah, I think that this is a toss-up game. I think it's a coin flip. And when it's a coin flip, I got to be a homer. I'm going with my home team. I'm going with the Falcons.
Yeah, me too.
I
going
don't think
Saints
it's going to be great. I'm not betting on them, but I'm just going with the Falcons.
Yep, and Saints over here.
All right. The following one is the Jaguars division game on the road. The Jaguars have done nothing all year. Division game on the road against the Houston Texans, who laid an egg last week.
Yeah, they did.
The Texans are favored by 4.5, and Jacksonville just got the crap beat out of them by the Bills on Monday night. I don't think there's any way you recover from Monday night to go home to Florida. There's a storm brewing this week. They got to get out of town. They got to go to Texas. They got to tell their families, hey, batten down the hatches without us because it's coming today or tomorrow. They're going to Texas in Houston, and Houston is going back home, and they really want to prove something. And it's hard for a team that lost on the road to come home and then go back out on the road.
And the whole storm thing, never even thought about that.
I've been looking at the weather this week for games. I've been looking at everything. I look at the stupid stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like travel, like who's going to be affected by this?
And it's what the hell's Texans quarterback Schnaub, whatever the hell.
Okay, he was like 3 quarterbacks ago.
What's this guy's name? I just watched fucking stuff on him. You tell me it's not an Ob?
C.J. Stroud. He's the quarterback.
Yeah, Stroud, Ob.
Yeah.
Whatever. Stroud.
It starts with an S.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
what
I was close.
But, yeah, I mean, Stroud, offensive player of the year last year, offensive rookie of the year last year. He just had a rough game.
They weren't in sync. He had a very rough game.
They couldn't do anything, but they did meet up with somebody who was pretty tough. So I think, in all honesty, I think that they'll bounce back at home. I really do think that Jacksonville's in trouble. Next game.
Yeah.
Okay, the shocker of the week last week, the biggest one that everybody talked about was the fact that rookie quarterback went into Tampa and kicked the crap out of the Bucs. This week, that same rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, he's going to your New York Jets.
All right, who's Bo Nix
playing for? The Jets are favored Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos.
The Jets are favored by 7. This is you versus Tommy, your best friend. Tommy, who's a big Broncos fan forever.
I'd feel much more confident as a Jet in this game.
Spread is -7.
Right. -7. Of course, it's going to be rough. I don't know, man, but I'm going for the Jets. That's what I'm
going
doing.
for the Jets, too.
That's what I got to do.
They should cover at home.
Yeah.
They got a little bit of confidence. They're at home. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in the Northeast at the end of the weekend when they're playing, so that's going to be interesting. But the Jets should cover this by 7. I don't believe in the Broncos. I don't believe in the Broncos. They had a
great
road
week
win. They had a great week. I think
week.
they shocked people, but I think they come back down to earth.
Like you said, or they go into it with confidence now. Oh, hey, we are good.
Well, just to let you know, that's my third tease of the week.
Third tease is that one.
That's the third part of the tease.
Boy, so that's the one that's going to fucking shit the bed right there.
Just need the Jets to win.
Yeah, you're nuts.
You picked it, so that's easy.
I
Jets
did not.
To win.
Well, no.
I never bet with the Jets, but that one's, to me, too easy. Okay, next big game, good game of the week. Hopefully Jordan Love is back. It's the Vikings on the road against the Packers in a division game. Now, you tell me this isn't crazy. Jordan Love has not played. The Packers are favored in Green Bay by 2.5 over the undefeated Vikings. That makes no sense.
Yeah, that's weird.
Now, I know the Packers, it's an outdoor team versus an indoor team. It's a dome team with a fast surface against Green Bay. And traditionally, Green Bay in this division, they hold that home field. They really play well. But to be favored against the Vikings, who are undefeated, I don't know. That's a shocker to me. I'm picking the Vikings. Jordan Love has been out. He's coming back this week. I'm still picking the Vikings. They got me last week, and until I'm proven wrong now at this point, I'm going with the Vikes. I'm going with Sam Darnold and your guy.
I'm scared to pick them too because I want.
I said last week, don't pick. I said 2 weeks ago, don't pick against Green Bay and Green Bay. I'm picking against Green Bay and Green Bay. I'm going with the Vikings this week.
And man, this would prove
Purple
it.
People Eaters.
I'm going to go for them too because it's the story I want.
It's the story you want. Sometimes it's just the heart.
And that's why they're going to
lose. The heart screws up with the bets every time.
They're going to lose.
Yeah. Let's hope not.
Good as,
anyway,
yeah.
They're not in my teas, but that's it. Okay. I hope the Vikes win. That's what I'm picking. Okay. Next game. Steelers on the road. The Steelers, who keep winning, are on the road at the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. And the Steelers are favored by 1.5 on the road. The Steelers are not flashy. The Steelers are winning these games. I don't know how. They beat Harbaugh, but, they beat the Chargers last week. But the truth of the matter is, the Chargers were out with their main quarterback. Now, this guy is a second-year quarterback in Indy. He played a good game last week and won. He did play Chicago. They have a good defense. I don't know. I think this game is going to be really, 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 really interesting to see. I can't go against Pittsburgh because they keep winning these crappy games against these opponents. But the first real opponent that Pittsburgh beat was last week, and they knocked the quarterback out of the game. He was injured before the game, wound up playing, re-injured himself, and got knocked out. But I still think Pittsburgh, they got something. It's kind of like when Belichick was in the game, and even if he didn't have his star players, he knew how to coach against certain people. Tomlin's been in the game forever. I got to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's been in the game forever, coaching
so
these Steelers
you don't
forever.
Know how long?
I don't know how long. I never looked it up. I'm just saying he's been in forever.
So
and with Tomlin being
behind
the sidelines, Tomlin being on the sideline there for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I can honestly say that there's so much confidence, even though I couldn't tell you what their offensive scheme is because they really don't have it with two different quarterbacks. I couldn't tell you they trade away so many players because they won't pay them, but then they replace them with somebody who's almost as good or just as good, if not better, then they trade him away. It's kind of like the old New England philosophy. And I really think Tomlin is just one of those coaches that I'm always scared to pick against, especially when there's not a powerhouse team against him. So, do you know how many years he's been in the league?
It says hired at the age of 34, Tomlin became only the third head coach hired by the Steelers since 1969, and in his 16 seasons.
16 seasons. Holy shit. So
at least
I think he's got the inside on these people. I don't know what it is.
Something about him I like, I respect, I fear. Just
his
like,
press conferences are crazy.
Like,
he comes up with these sayings, these new sayings every week. Yeah, you could probably find a highlight of Tomlinisms of what he says at these press conferences because it's funny.
Is he trying to be funny or is he
No,
weird?
No, he just says things that I'd never heard of these expressions before. It's like, how like
they don't mix well.
No, it's not that they don't mix well. It's not something you've ever heard before. So he's always looking for splash. Like he always says the word splash. Like we were just looking, that was a splash play. And that was, that we were going for and he says some word and he's just like, you don't use that word there, but he does. And he continues to use it. And it's not a mistake for him.
Right.
He wants that word to be there. It's not like
that's
he's making,
the word.
He's like, this is what I mean by it. This is what I want from my players.
Right.
They understand my lingo.
So you're going to throw some lettuce in there. That means
exactly. Yeah,
that
whatever
means
it is.
That shit's slowing you down.
Yeah. I mean, he's never said it, but it's like, when you're making a salad, you got to make sure you got the olives in there. And then you're like, okay, he's never said that, but I'm just saying, it's an example like that. You're like, where did that come from? Like, that's his press conference.
Okay. Oh, that sounds like a fun listen.
He is fun.
Okay, and he also seems very scary.
So I'm picking the Steelers because of that reason.
Yeah.
Because of Tomlinisms.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, next game. Okay, it's the Rams.
Rams,
who somehow won last week against the Niners when they looked like they were out of that game completely. They're going in to play the Bears. Caleb Williams and the Bears. Now, Caleb Williams is the rookie quarterback. I don't see where the spread is. The Bears are favored by 2.5 in Chicago against the Rams. The Rams got a lot of players that are hurt, but they came back against the Niners, who had a lot of players out too, but they came back against the Niners. I think they got some confidence. I think they're much more mature. The Bears have a good defense. I don't know about their offense right now. I think they're still struggling. That's, to me, a toss-up game. I mean, I wouldn't bet it normally, but if I'm going to pick a team in that one, I'm going to pick the Rams just because I have more confidence in the Rams.
I have more faith in Stafford.
I do too. I have faith in Stafford, and I have him, even though he makes a lot of mistakes. This rookie's been making a lot of different, it's so hot and cold. We'll see if they can get him off his game, okay?
Stafford's not making less mistakes. Son of a bitch.
Well, he did last week when he came back and beat the Niners. All right, next game, good game to watch. I want to see these teams play each other. I want to see what's going on. It is on the road. I'm interested to see what happens with the Storm because it is in Tampa Bay, but the Eagles are traveling to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oof.
And the Eagles are favored by 2.5 points. And this, to me, is a toss-up game. The Eagles are favored on the road, though. But 2.5 points. Do the Bucs bounce back? Are they home? Are they distracted right now with a storm coming right up the coast? Is there a lot of practice going on right now? Is there a lot of anything else? I don't know. There's going to be some rain before, this week.
I mean, who do you think's a better team?
I think the Eagles are going to win the game because I think they're a better team.
By far?
Not by far.
They're not a better team by far.
Not by far, but I think they're a better team. I think they can control the ball with running the ball. I think they could control the clock. If the Bucs don't get off right away with a fast start throwing the ball, and Baker Mayfield doesn't get hot right away, I think the Eagles can control the clock, run the ball, take care of what they need to take care of, and get it done. I still don't know if A.J. Brown is coming back anytime soon.
Wow, what the hell's going on with him?
He's been out the whole season so far. So I'm hoping he's been injured. I'm hoping that he comes back. If he comes back, they're a totally different team because that's the number one threat. But they've been playing well. Their tight end really, really had a good game last week. So we'll see what happens.
I believe you.
Well, we watched the game with them. They beat your Saints last week. So
yeah, they did.
All right, next game on the calendar. The really, really, I can't even say it straight face.
What?
The Patriots are going to the Niners.
The
Patriots are going to the Niners. They're traveling all the way to California.
And
if you would guess the spread on that, what would be the spread?
Okay.
And the Niners were hurt. The Niners lost last week.
I know. The Niners lost the week before.
So you tell me. They went into L.A., which wasn't that far, to the Rams. They had a big lead, and they blew it, and they lost by 3, 27-24. So they're in San Francisco. They're favored by 10.5 points. You never see that in an NFL game. They're favored by 10.5 points over the Patriots. But they can't hold a lead. I've been saying it since they cannot hold a lead. Do I expect this to be a blowout? It should be. Do I expect at the end the Patriots suddenly just scored 2 touchdowns and it's maybe a 9-point game or something like that, or a 7-point game? It's crazy. I said at the beginning, the Niners cannot hold a lead. They've lost 3 huge
They held the lead against the Jets.
Oh, yeah, but the Jets were terrible.
Right? Well, but then all of a sudden, the second week, they were ready for their game.
They got a lot of injuries, too. They got a lot of injuries. I don't know if Kittle's playing. I know that they still have a lot of injuries I don't know if Deebo Samuel's playing. There's a reason why they're favored by 10.5. I don't think it's that. I think that's a sucker's bet. I honestly think that is too high. I'd be surprised. In the NFL, 10.5 points is a huge spread. Maybe they're just trying to bait everybody into saying that they're so good you should bet them. But I don't know. I would stay away from betting this game.
So I'm
picking the Niners. I'm scared of the 10.5 points. I'm not teasing. I'm not anything else because I don't trust the Niners right now.
I'm going Patriots.
There you go. We got the Washington Commanders who shocked everybody, and they beat up on Cincinnati, okay? They're going to Arizona. So they just traveled to Cincinnati, okay? And now they're coming back home, and they're getting on a plane, and they're traveling back to Arizona. Hot as anything, Arizona.
Yeah, and tough team, Arizona.
Yes, and the Cardinals are favored by 5. The Cardinals just played the Lions, and they lost. The Lions came out. That trick play was fantastic. I know I showed you that trick play.
Yeah,
that trick play that the Lions had.
Did you call it the flea flicker?
Well, it was a flea flicker, but it was like a flea flicker. The old hook and ladder that they used to do, but they did it with crossing routes, and it was wild because it was just in front of the line. That one guy's crossing, the other guy came back across the other line,
and it was perfectly done.
Normally, it's 2 guys on one side. One guy catches it, the other guy's behind him, and he just turns around and flicks it right to the guy. No, this guy came across. So when the pass was off, the defender dropped his guard. He came around, he scored. It was amazing. But Arizona lost because of that play. But they're a really, really solid team, okay? And they're still at home. And who have they beaten, Washington? They beat the Giants, and they just beat Cincinnati. So between those 2 teams, how many wins do they have? 1. Those 2 teams only have 1 win on the season.
Getting 5 and going in with confidence. I'm taking Washington. Doing it, man.
I saw it in your eyes. You're like,
why not?
You're like, the little squint.
Yeah, it's going against you.
You tip your head a little bit to the side. You're like, I think I can pull this one off.
I could see it working.
All right, we'll see what happens.
We'll go against you.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, you're going against me again. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm only doing that first 3 game tease, but if I was doing 4, that would be my 4th one. But I'm only doing the first 3. Last week I got
Sure.
greedy with 4, but I'm only doing 3. See,
I don't think
see if I can pull one off.
I think you're dead in the water with your teases, but
Nope.
that means you got a shot.
Well, here's the thing.
I have no idea.
It's funny because I told you when it was happening, I said I was watching another sports show that was on betting on one of the DraftKings networks, just watching it. There was one person on the show, and she goes, oh, yeah, this game is a little too confusing because there's so much stuff, and I don't really trust. But you know what? I never do this, but I'm going to do a teaser. And she picked a teaser. And I never heard that in all my years. The only time I've ever heard a teaser was, like I said, at the end of the bar.
Really?
With the guy at the end of the bar.
That
That's the only
surprises
guy I've
me.
ever heard talk about teasers. So it's funny that it was actually this week. It was on, and she was picking a teaser. And
And
she
what
went
was her
2 out of
teaser?
3. She went 2 out of 3.
Okay.
She picked 2 games on Monday night, but she lost on the over.
I'm going to try to, maybe next week, I'll try to be prepared to have my own teaser.
That would be good. I'd like to see what you do.
I got to prepare for it. I got to see.
I
got to put
literally-
the time into it.
Yeah, I literally do the spreads and the teaser 5 minutes before I walk in here with you. I circle who I think is going to win, and I say,
Right.
what are 3 good games to tease? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, those
And
are
it's just, that's it. And it's just changing the spread to whatever you want to 6 points.
6 one way or 6 the other. All right, next game. The Chiefs are on the road against the Chargers. The Chiefs are favored by 7 points. I'm not going against the Chiefs until I know anything, but here's the thing about the Chargers. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I don't know what's going on. It is Harbaugh is the coach. He's been playing well up until last week at the Steelers. They're back at home, but I'm taking the Chiefs no matter what. I can't.
Me too.
Until they
Chiefs.
do something. Until they do something to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
This game is another game that I don't understand the spread. The Browns are going on the road to go to the Raiders. The spread, the Browns are favored by 1, which means they're giving 1 point to the Raiders. I don't understand that.
Yeah, they lost last
Both
week.
teams are kind of terrible, but the Browns
And
on the road, you would think at least the Raiders would be favored by 3.
I guess.
The Raiders still put some points up against.
They
put
do.
some points up against Washington.
What do you think though with this? So it's pretty much it's a non-spread
I think it's
game.
an easy correction. I actually trust the coach of the Raiders more than I trust the coach of the Browns. I think the Raiders are going to come back from this. I'm going with Raiders. How about you?
Raiders all day.
Okay, this one, there's 2 5-star games of the week, and it starts, unfortunately, on Monday night. The other ones, if you like a team, you can root for it, you could watch, whatever. I'm interested, like I said, the only other game that I'm really interested, the Vikings and the Packers, I'm very interested in. And the other one was the Eagles game I'm interested in. But this is the one. The Bills are on the road this week at the Ravens on Sunday Night Football.
Bills.
Ravens. Ravens finally won a game.
Yep.
They ran Henry.
And
Lamar was playing great. They looked unstoppable. They were just having fun. They looked like the Olympic Dream Team when they beat the heck out of everybody. They were unbelievable. It looked like when they were throwing passes, it was just like, oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, just easy
Okay,
peasy.
yeah. Oh,
like
oh
no
we need a
big
first
deal.
down? Oh,
Mhm.
it's 3rd and 8? Oh, yeah. Yeah, think. Oh, okay, here you go.
good,
What
fine.
do you do? Oh, we need 5 yards? Why don't we do that? Oh, Josh Allen's just going to run it? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and
It didn't matter what they
and
were
that
doing.
bothers me so much because for obvious reasons. But I also like them, and I want them to I kind of want them to do well. But that fucks me over with the Jets.
I
And
know, but if you weren't a Jet fan, or if the Jets were already in the playoffs and had nothing to do with this game, who's better? Who do you think is really better, the Bills or the Ravens? The Ravens are at home on Sunday Night Football. The Bills are on the road. The Bills just came off a Monday night. The Ravens had a big win last week.
Well, you said, I'm sorry, did you say the spread already?
Oh, the spread? The Ravens are favored by 2.5.
The Ravens are favored. They're given.
Like, I'm watching this game every second to see what's going on.
This is where the Bills prove themselves right now, big time, I think. And if I had to put money on it, I don't know enough about the Ravens to give a shit, so I'm going Bills. Like, who do you think's a better team overall?
I think the Bills' offense is better than the Ravens' defense, and that's all I'm going by. I think the Bills are going to eke this out.
Is the Ravens' offense anywhere close to the
They
Bills'
played
offense?
great. They played great last week.
But-
They can give the Bills problems. If Lamar Jackson plays the right way, if he runs when he wants to run and not because he has to run, just instinctively as opposed to design, and if Travis Henry gets going, they're dangerous. and then they can use their other weapons. But they got to start off with that running game, and they got to figure out whether or not Henry's going to go outside and up the middle. I mean, he's a power back. When he gets going, when you watched him the other day, you're like, holy cow, this guy, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to stop him. He's just going to go. If he could do that against the Bills, which he has the potential to do it, but I think the Bills are going to outmatch them on offense to defense. I think the Bills offensively are much more of a powerhouse. So I'm going with the Bills in a slight win. I'm not confident in it.
I'm really rooting against the Bills. So I'm gonna go, even though I think they're gonna win. I'm going Baltimore, man, because I.
So this is hard.
Or do I? Yeah, it's hard.
Or
I'm going
do you
hard.
want to jinx them?
I don't want to jinx them because I think when I try to jinx them, that doesn't work like that. So might as well root for Baltimore. Sorry,
right.
Baltimore.
All right.
Yeah.
Last two games.
Last two.
Okay. They're both on Monday night, which they're doing now. 2 games on Monday night.
That's it.
I think this early game is terrible.
All right. What is it?
Okay. It's the Tennessee Titans, who have shown nothing and done nothing, against the Miami Dolphins in Miami.
Right. And Miami's also kind of loved their downfall. I'm all into that. Anyone who's can be worse than the Jets in that division. So
yeah, I think it's because Tua's out, but yeah.
Yeah, so Titans, man, you saw something in them 2 weeks ago, and I still believe in them now against Miami.
I know. Miami doesn't have a quarterback. They have everybody else at this point. They don't have once Tua went down, that team is such a crazy. But here's the thing. It's at home in Miami. The Titans are favored in Miami by 1. The Titans have not been able to do anything against anyone.
Really?
They lost to the Jets.
Right, but didn't they score
They lost
a couple of times?
Huh?
Have they
They
not
give
been
the ball
scoring?
away. They throw it away. They do whatever. They lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to. This is a team that they should lose to, and they're favored. I'm going Tennessee because they're my heart. That's the only reason I'm going Tennessee, because I just want somebody to win something of one of my teams. This week is going to be a rough week for me, for my 4 teams. Okay? I didn't pick the Falcons. I didn't pick the Titans. And now the second Monday night game is the worst of all my nightmares that every season happens at least once or twice. The Seattle Seahawks are traveling to the Detroit Lions, and the Lions are favored by 4.5. I have 2 teams that I love. I have a team that's 3-0 in the Seahawks, 3-0 with your ex-quarterback.
Wait, who's 3-0?
Seattle.
Seattle's 3-0.
They're winning.
Oh, with what, Geno Smith?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have not been paying any
Geno
attention
Smith,
to
3-0. Geno Smith is traveling on the road to my Detroit Lions, who need this win.
Damn
they
it.
need it to keep pace with the Vikings.
Oh, damn it.
And I'm like, what do I do? Who do I pick?
Shit.
I don't want this to happen. And it happens every year at least once.
I like Geno Smith, man.
Oh, but they're playing against the Lions.
Yeah.
So what do I root for? The best thing that happened to me is that Seattle's still 3-1 and Detroit wins another game. If Detroit wins, at least they're both still in the divisions. If Detroit loses this game, I think they fall way behind in the division.
You do, and it's going to be sad.
And it's going to be really, really hard. So I think actually Detroit's a better team. I think they're better at home. I think they're better on offense. It's a Monday night game. The lights are on. It's a rough game to play in, but I'm going with Detroit on Monday night, -4.5.
Okay. Listen to me. I'm going to paint a picture for you right now. This is Geno Smith. He's sitting there. It's like fucking 2 minutes before he's about to go out, and he's like, man, this is the time where I'm going to shine. This is going to be a Monday night game that's going to be talked about for the rest of football history. And he was right. And they're going to fucking kill it. It's going to be amazing. So Seahawks.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah. Sorry.
You're killing me.
He's doing it.
Because I'm not going to be upset if either one wins. I got a 4-0 team, but then I got one team that really has to fight for the playoffs. So it's like, oh, this is the torture I talk about. I torture myself in these stupid games. It drives me crazy.
Me saying that really does make it worse off for Geno Smith. I know it does, because whenever I do anything like this, it's always so wrong.
Well, so far you've picked all the Jet quarterbacks. You picked Aaron Rodgers right now. You picked Sam Darnold with the Vikings.
Yep, absolutely.
And you picked Geno Smith.
That's what I'm going to do. Jet quarterbacks, man. They're oh, shit.
So this is a Jet weekend.
That's it.
All right. Oh, shit. You're in trouble.
All right.
All right. Enough.